Really? Well, all right. I think we will get started. Thank you, everyone, for attending our All About the SLO Food Bank's programs webinar. This is part of a quarterly learning webinar series that we host for our agency partners, which everyone will hear more about later. However, we thought it would be nice to extend the invitation to other service providers and community organizations that the SLO Food Bank works with throughout the county, as this information is valuable, I think, for everyone to hear. A few quick housekeeping items. We are recording this webinar, so if you missed something or have to dip out early, or if a coworker couldn't make it, we will make that available afterwards, and it'll be shareable and easy to access for everyone. We will also be sharing the slides as well as other corresponding materials that we refer to or mention throughout the webinar. And then additionally, we have the mics and cameras turned off for attendees, but please utilize the chat function in the webinar if you have any questions throughout. And hopefully at the end of the webinar, we'll have time to answer those. And then if not, we'll follow up directly with whoever was asking the question. And then from here, I would like to introduce our Community Programs Director, Andrea Keisler. I think you're muted. There she goes.
Thank you, Kelly. And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrea Keisler, and as Kelly mentioned, I'm the Community Programs Director here at the SLO Food Bank. I'm really excited to be here today to have the opportunity for members of our amazing staff on our programs team to talk with you about the different ways we provide food assistance to our neighbors throughout San Luis Obispo County. I'm going to start by giving you some context for why we're here in the first place, what we do, and how we do it. And then I'll turn it over to the real stars of the show, the members of our programs team. So I'm going to start with why we're here. It's an unfortunate reality that members of our community are food insecure in San Luis Obispo County. I know that many of you are service providers and are familiar with this term, but for those of you who aren't, food security is the condition of not having access to sufficient food or food of an adequate quality to meet one's basic needs. And in our county, in San Luis Obispo County, out of the 280,000 people who live here, about 31% of households do not earn enough to afford the essential cost of living. And 10% of children and 7% of seniors experience food insecurity. So we exist because of this tragic reality in our own community. Which leads me to what we do, which is captured in our mission and our vision for our community. Our mission is that we work with a network of community partners to alleviate hunger in San Luis Obispo County and build a healthier community. And our vision is that everyone has access to nutritious food. I want to emphasize the collaborative and community-based nature of our work. It's in our mission statement, but I want to highlight it again because it's so important. As an organization that employs only 30 staff members, but serves the entire county and distributes millions of pounds of food every year, the relationships we have with our community and the work you all do as volunteers, agency partners, or community partners make it possible for us to carry out that important mission of alleviating hunger and building a healthier community. So what we do falls into 4 general categories: the distribution of food, information and resources sharing through our network of partners like yourselves, community partnerships, and food rescue. Let's see here. Sorry, the slides got ahead of me here. And how we help, to give you a sense of scale that we operate at, in 2021, through our network, we provided over 3 million meals to over 31,000 individuals on average per month and rescued over 1.7 million pounds of food. So I think I've actually talked enough. I'm going to turn it over to the program staff. But before I do, I wanted to show you how our community programs department is structured so that as each staff member speaks, you'll have a better understanding of who oversees each program. So we're first going to hear from our partner services team, which oversees agency partners and our no cook bag program. Second, we're going to hear from our direct services team, who will talk about neighborhood food distributions and our senior home delivery program. Third, our nutritions program team will tell us about breakfast bags, children's farmers markets, and senior farmers markets. And last, we will hear about our CalFresh outreach program. So thanks again so much for being here today. And I'm going to turn it back over to Kelly Boycart and Natalie DeRose, our partner services rock stars.
Yay. Thank you so much, Andrea. And thank you again, everyone, for being here. All right. And like Andrea mentioned, my name is Kelly Boycourt, and I am the Partner Services Manager. And then alongside Natalie DeRose, one of our community programs coordinators, we manage and oversee all things partner services, which encompasses our agency partners and the No Cook Bags program. And then to kind of orient where we are, we highlighted that we're in this branch of the community programs of the SLO Food Bank. All right, so I'm going to start by covering agency partnership at the SLO Food Bank. So, for our other organizations present that are not currently agency partners, I want to provide a quick definition of what an agency partner is. Agency partners of the SLO Food Bank are 501c3 registered nonprofit organizations that are providing food resources or operating hunger relief efforts throughout SLO County. Agency partners of the SLO Food Bank undergo an application and review process, and then once they're onboarded, they can receive no or low cost food directly from the SLO Food Bank. And it's a really neat program. So, as I mentioned, the main benefit of agency partnership is direct access to weekly food ordering through our online ordering system, which is pictured on this slide. You can see a little preview. Our food procurement team and our operations team works really hard to source a lot of bulk cased product at no cost or low cost, including pantry staples and meal site staples and nutritious food, which we'll hear a little bit more about from Tara later, for our agency partners to order. SLO Food Bank, in other food programs, what you'll hear is SLO Food Bank staff are often determining food for specific sites and programs. So agency partnership is really unique in that our agency partners have very direct control over the food they order to use in their food programs. And so we try to set up all our agency partners to have flexibility and that control so that they can better serve their clients and their clients' specific needs depending on their site type or depending what region they're in, and that agencies can also order food in quantities that they can safely store and distribute in a timely manner. So there's not an order minimum. We do have some order maximums to try and make sure we have enough food for all our agency partners, but there's no order minimum. So we have some agencies that are operating really regularly on a weekly basis. We have others that might be operating more seasonally, and we really try to design the program to fit the scope of those different types. There's no membership fee to become an agency partner. And like I mentioned briefly, there's no requirement on how much food an agency must distribute. We try to really make it accessible to what is going to suit their program needs best. Other benefits of being an agency partner include joint fundraising opportunities, participation in other programs like Agency Direct Grocery Rescue, networking, and more. So while we do try to keep it really flexible and accessible to our nonprofit organizations who are also providing services in SLO County, we do have some ongoing requirements that help standardize and keep everyone on the same page for our nonprofit, food work. So partner services, aka me and Natalie, visit all of our agency partner sites before they're even onboarded and then at least every 2 years after, just to ensure that all the SLO Food Bank sourced food is being stored and distributed safely. Food is distributed for free and equitably to our community. And the best part of it is that Natalie or myself and other team members get to interact with our partners in person at least every 2 years, but often more. And we get to learn more about how their program is directly functioning, what needs or challenges they are seeing in their specific program or region, and also receive really valuable feedback about how we, the SLO Food Bank, are doing in terms of food sourcing, communications, and services provided. And so I have a little graphic on this slide just kind of highlighting where some of these requirements are coming from because it's not just the SLO Food Bank determining the parameters of this program. We are a member of Feeding America, which is a nationwide network of more than 200 food banks, and that really informs agency partner requirements, record keeping, and some compliance aspects. And then additionally, we are informed by, our county and government food safety standards because we are distributing food to the public, even if it is for free, we have to make sure that we're distributing it safely and it's stored properly and that it's safe for our, community members in need to ultimately consume. And so the main goal of these regulations is always focused on making sure that food stays accessible to those who need it, it's distributed equitably, and it's distributed with, in line with food safety standards. So that might sound kind of like a lot of regulating, but that isn't to say there is not variety or flexibility. Because again, we're trying to keep agency partnership accessible to our other nonprofit organizations in the community who are doing such valuable work because the SLO Food Bank could not do it alone. So one of the ways that the flexibility happens is we try to classify each agency partner into 5 different site types, and even these site types can be changed over time if we determine a newer site needs to be generated, like home delivery, for example, might eventually become one. And so you'll see a large amount of our agency partners are kind of your typical expanded food pantry, meaning that they have refrigeration and freezers. And so on our online ordering system, we can enable those agencies to receive frozen and refrigerated product, whereas our basic food pantries just get shelf stable and whole produce only. But even within an expanded food pantry type, for example, you can see a wide variety of food programs. I've seen home delivery grocery programs, school based pantries, seasonal programs, and more. And so, Natalie and I and the partner services team really strive to provide a catered experience not only to each agency partner site type, but each individual partner depending on where they are in the community. And that main goal is really to ensure that we distribute food in the community in a way that is directly reaching more of our neighbors in need. And that's meeting agency partners where they are, as our agency partners ultimately reach out to our community members who need this food. And then another point I wanted to highlight is that our network of agency partners and our other hunger relief organizations is countywide. This is a quick snapshot of where all our current agency partners are. And you might notice that those numbers look a little higher than maybe what you've seen on our um, public pantries guide and neighborhood food distributions guide. And that's because some of our agency partners operate a closed program, which might be at a school. So we wouldn't list it on our public resources, but rest assured they are an agency partner accessing the same benefits as our other ones. As we look into future years, partner services, and I think the SLO Food Bank would really like to focus on growing our agency partner network, particularly public pantries in the North County region, such as Paso Robles, as well as the outskirt regions of our county, such as San Miguel or Cayucas and other ones like that. So if you know of a nonprofit organization that is maybe already doing a food pantry or is interested in hunger relief efforts, Natalie and myself would love to hear from them to connect and learn more. And we will go over later in the webinar about how to access the public agency partner pantries information. All right, and the other program that Natalie and I oversee is the No Cook Bags. And so, No Cook Bags are intended to serve folks in the community who are unhoused, and each bag is filled with shelf stable, ready to eat foods that do not require any kitchen equipment to open the packaging nor to cook it. So, if a canned item is in there, for example, it won't require a can opener, it would be a pop top. Qualified organizations that can receive and distribute these no cook bags are nonprofits, local government agencies, local government programs, and public housing agencies. Eligible recipients to receive these bags are people experiencing homelessness or those who don't have access to consistent housing and or cooking equipment. So it's not just limited to somebody who might be at a homeless shelter, but it could be someone who is living in their car or things like that. And whoops, those are the contents of the no cook bag as well in that photo. And so this program is a little different in that the SLO Food Bank does decide what goes in the no cook bags. However, we really appreciate any feedback from organizations distributing it. We actually have a survey going out right now that is getting some really great feedback because, again, we always want to make sure the food we're providing is actually getting to the people who need it and that they're consuming it and it's healthy and nutritious and also tasty. So, one no cook bag is intended to provide about 1 day's worth of nutrients for one person. So, we're trying to keep the calorie level high. We're trying to have a high amount of protein and try to have a variety of protein grains or fruits or veggies, but additionally, keeping an eye to have it be low sodium. And also keeping in mind that the folks receiving this probably don't have storage. So everything is shelf stable. It does not need to be cooked to be safe to eat. And we do try to keep the bags light for ease of transport. We don't want to put something really heavy in there that would be difficult for someone to take with them if they needed to. Yeah, and then another thing I wanted to point out is how this program has really, really grown at a high rate over the past 5 years. You can see in 2017, we had about 300 no cook bags going out on a monthly basis. And in this year, we are close to averaging over 3,000 no cook bags. We'll see where the end of the year brings us, but it is tracking much higher than it was 5 years ago. The other really interesting part of this program is that due to the nature of homeless outreach, it's not as easy to put where all the no cook bags are going on a map like we did for agency partners. So some organizations receiving these bags might have a single office location where a lot of unhoused people come to receive other services, such as enrolling in CalFresh. Whereas other agencies receiving no cook bags are doing active outreach, in creek beds or in the streets or in areas where they know unhoused people are living. And the no cook bags are really used as a way to bridge and introduce, service providers to folks receiving the no cook bags and also provide some really valuable food. So for the next, looking to the future, the SLO Food Bank and myself and Natalie, we really want to try and increase two-way communications with the food bank and our no cook bag agencies, because our no cook bag agencies are directly interacting, with the unhoused people in our community, and we want to know what's working and what's needed and where the need is, because you can see it's obviously increasing, but any more information beyond that is really valuable as we continue to figure out how we can best serve our community. All right. So we covered partner services. So both no cook bags and agency partners are programs where food is directly, sent from the SLO Food Bank to an organization. And I'm going to turn it over to Cliff Mendez, our direct services manager, to talk about our neighborhood food distributions and senior home delivery, where the SLO Food Bank is, you guessed it, directly providing the food to the community.
Thank you, Kelly. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining. As Kelly mentioned, we're going to get into our direct services branch of our programs team. So this shows us where we are in terms of our program's organizational chart. And my name is Cliff Mendez. As mentioned, I am the direct services manager at SLO Food Bank. I've had the pleasure of working with many of you during my time as either the partner services clerk in our warehouse or in my current role out in the field at our distributions or outreach events. So I'd like to say, whether you're in our nonprofit network or part of our external community partner network, I'd like to thank you all for everything you do for our community. So what are direct services? Specifically, what does direct services mean in the context of SLO Food Bank? After all, you can argue that handing food directly to visitors at pantries or meal sites is a direct service. But in terms of SLO Food Bank programs, it refers to activities where SLO Food Bank staff or volunteers are directly distributing food to individuals and families by way of our neighborhood food distributions or our senior home delivery program. Let's start with our neighborhood food distributions and their function in our community. Pictured here, you can see our setup at Napomo Elementary School, which is brilliantly run by SLO Women Aid, who are a local nonprofit that is also part of our agency network. The goal of these distributions is to provide families with supplemental emergency food assistance. Every household receives an equitable amount of food, which is determined at the beginning of each month based on inventory available. Every distribution is set to occur at the same time, same location, same day, every month. For example, participants can visit this distribution at Napomo Elementary every second Tuesday of the month from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. In the event of a distribution, where if a distribution has to be rescheduled or moved because of a holiday or other foreseeable closure, we will send messaging to the sites that will be affected 1 month in advance. In the event of an emergency closure, however, which is something we unfortunately saw a few months ago with the floods, we do our best to get out messaging by making announcements on social media, our website, and by leaning on trusted community partners to get the word out. So here's a quick glimpse of our network of neighborhood food distributions throughout the county. You can see that there are options in every region, and we even go as far out as more remote areas such as San Simeon, Heritage Ranch, and California Valley. At these distributions, this is an example of what the food is that participants can expect, which is primarily pre-bagged produce and shelf-stable groceries. In addition to this, we offer frozen protein and other bulk extras such as cereal, flour, eggs, milk, or bread when it's available. Primarily, the food given out at our neighborhood food distributions comes from the USDA through the Emergency Food Assistance Program, or TFAP, which is a federal food aid program designed to provide supplemental food to income-eligible recipients. In California, the program is overseen by the California Department of Social Services, where they appoint eligible recipient agencies, such as SLO Food Bank, to distribute within their service area. It's important to note that TFAP does not require intake and has a self-certification process, where recipients will only be expected to review these income guidelines and sign in to provide their name, address, and household size. No proof of income, residency, or identification is a requirement to get food at any of these distributions, and nobody will be turned away for any reason. While we strive to make all of our neighborhood food distributions as accessible as possible, there are times when individuals or families can't make it to them. In this case, if they have a trusted associate that can, however, there is a process for that person to pick up food on their behalf. An alternate pickup request form for TFAP allows eligible individuals who can't attend the distribution, review the income guidelines, self-certify by providing household information, and authorize an alternate person to collect their food. These forms are intended to be filled prior to visiting a distribution site. And now that takes us to the other main program in direct services, which is our senior home delivery program. So just as a quick backstory, during the pandemic, we worked with the County of San Luis Obispo employees who were reassigned to our site as disaster service workers to help deliver groceries countywide as people were isolating. This gave us the idea to approach Wilshire Community Services and Ride On Transportation, two other local nonprofits, to begin a countywide home delivery program for low-income homebound seniors. We're a tiny but mighty team, but this effort would not be doable without help. And I'm extremely grateful to Ride On Transportation and Wilshire as we enter our 4th year of delivering groceries on a weekly basis to 140 households on average. We already prioritize distributing food that is low sugar and low sodium because of our comprehensive nutrition policy, which we'll get into later. So the food offered in this program is tailored to accommodate senior nutrition. In addition to TFAP food, we have been fortunate to secure grant funding that allows us to purchase extras such as Ensure, for example, which has been a huge hit with recipients. Frozen protein is also distributed 1 week per month. Every household receives the same amount of food and type of food each week, and we are unfortunately unable to accommodate special requests or dietary restrictions, but we do actively gather feedback from clients to inform decisions on what to send out. As far as eligibility, individuals are eligible for the program if they meet TFAP income guidelines, are age 60 or older, and homebound for any reason, such as health or transportation restrictions. Individuals can call Jessica Devereaux at Wilshire Community Services at the number listed here. And for service organizations, we actually have a pretty easy to fill out Microsoft form that can be filled out on someone else's behalf. And a link to this form will be provided after the presentation. Once enrolled, clients can expect deliveries to start on the next available delivery day, which would be on Tuesday for South County and SLO residents and Thursday for North County and coastal residents. Holds or cancellation of services can be requested at any time by contacting Jessica at Wilshire. So that concludes the section on direct services. Thank you all so much for joining, and I will now pass the torch over to Tara Davis and Avalon Hatcher to talk to you about nutrition programs.
Thanks, Cliff. Hi, everybody. My name is Tara Davis. I am the Nutrition Programs Manager here at the SLO Food Bank, and I'm excited to talk about this little nutrition education branch of programs today. Pictured alongside myself is Avalon Hatcher. She's our amazing Nutrition Programs Coordinator. We work together alongside 6 dietetic interns that we rotate throughout the year through the Tascadero State Hospital and Cal Poly Dietetic Internship programs, which we're super grateful for. And nutrition programs encompasses our food bank nutrition policy, our nutrition education program, children's and seniors farmers markets, as well as breakfast bags. And I'm going to start by touching briefly on our nutrition policy. So this is a document that provides guidelines for what food products are most desirable based on nutritional content, and actually informs decisions regarding food that is donated, purchased, or procured through government programs. So this allows us to make consistent food procurement decisions across our organizations towards the most healthful food options available for distribution. And what it does is it ranks food products into 3 categories based on a few different characteristics, and that includes their content of saturated fat, added sugar, as well as sodium. And then these 3 categories are choose often, choose sometimes, and choose rarely. Choose often are going to be the foods that are highest in important nutrients and then lowest in those nutrients that should be limited as part of a healthy dietary pattern. And then choose rarely foods are going to be foods that are lowest in important nutrients and then highest in nutrients that should be limited. And choose sometimes is somewhere in the middle of those 2. And so how the food bank takes that a step further is we set thresholds for proportions of our overall inventory that will fall within each category. So we have a minimum threshold of 60% of our inventory should fall in that most desirable category, choose often, and then no more than 10% should fall into the choose rarely category, so that we're keeping everything as nutritious as possible. And then a cool feature that is in our online ordering system that Kelly mentioned for our registered agency partners. In Primarius, when an agency partner representative logs in to order foods for their organization, they can actually view the nutrition category for each food product and use this to make decisions if they want to compare the nutritional value of one product to another really quickly. And I'm going to move on to talking a little bit about our nutrition education program. So this actually interacts with and is kind of infused throughout all the different SLO Food Bank programs. We do 2 different types of nutrition outreach. One is direct, and that's going to be anything that involves one person interacting with another. So those are going to be in-person things like presentations, recipe demos, someone at a site handing out literature, and things like that. And then we also do indirect education, which is going to not involve any kind of human interaction. That's going to be stuff like printed materials going in food bags, virtual things like newsletter tidbits or social media posts. We also have a nutrition education website on our nutrition education webpage on our website, and that's slofoodbank.org/nutrition. So anyone at an organization or any participant receiving food from the food bank or just in the community in general can go to that link and actually download different recipes and other nutrition ed materials we have available. And within these 2 types of outreach, we try to address 3 kind of overarching pillars or themes, one of which is going to be general nutrition education, which addresses what a nutritious diet consists of, as well as food access program education. So that's going to be how can people access those right foods for their nutritional needs. And then lastly, it's going to be culinary education. So something we find super important is teaching participants how they can prepare foods they receive from the SLO Food Bank into healthy meals. And then these are just some sample materials. At the top, these are some printed materials for Market Match, some recipe ideas for some neighborhood food distribution ingredients, and then just a general nutrition ed material in that top right corner. All of our printed materials are bilingual. And then on the bottom there, just an example lesson we did with kiddos, and then an example recipe sample. And then the SLO Food Bank has two produce only programs, one of which is children's farmers markets. We have 10 of these every month throughout the county, and they take place at lower income schools as well as learning centers at low income housing properties. And what we do is SLO Food Bank staff goes out to these 10 sites every month, and we take bulk of whatever produce items we have on hand, and then either on a playground or in a classroom, we set up a makeshift farmers market and even put price signage up. And then the kids come through and they're given a stack of that colorful fruit and veggie themed play money, as well as a bag with their name on it. And they actually get to go through the market and shop with our staff, and then take that food home to their families and determine what they're going to spend their money on and how much of each thing they're going to get. And so we try our best to encourage them to get a little bit of everything, but we do give them autonomy to make their own choices in hopes that that's going to make it more likely that they'll consume those fruits and veggies when they take it home. And then alongside the actual market activity at these sites, we also try and conduct hands-on nutrition education lessons or just fun games, things like that. So there's a few pictures at the top of what we do. Sometimes we'll do nutrition ed Jenga. We have a little spin the wheel. And other interactive things like those. And then we often give out take home nutrition ed handouts that have activities or fun recipes on them. So there's a couple samples there. And then we always give 2 to 3 produce recipe cards alongside the produce items we're giving out each day for the kiddos to take home and prepare what they're getting that day. And our other produce only program is specific for seniors. We have 10 of these every month as well throughout the county, and these take place in lower income senior living communities. The purpose of this program is to increase access to fresh fruits and vegetables for the senior population. As we age, nutrition becomes more and more important than ever, and then many seniors also face transportation or mobility limitations. So we're taking fresh produce to them to choose on their own and take home to their apartments or houses, and that way they don't have to find any kind of ride or walk really far anywhere, things like that. And then these are also really great because they provide a social opportunity for everyone living in these communities. Seniors often live alone and face isolation, so this is a great way for them to get out of the house, and kind of see their community at least on a monthly basis. And the last program I'll talk about within nutrition programs is our breakfast bags. This is a summertime only program geared towards children. The purpose of this is to fill the meal gap that exists during the summer months when school meals are less accessible. And breakfast bags, we send out about 6,500 each summer to about 3 dozen sites. And those sites range from schools to agency partners and then any other child serving organization that operates during the summer months. Each drawstring backpack is filled with about 21 meals worth of nutritious and shelf-stable, easy to prepare breakfast items. The goal is that everything is nutritious but also acceptable by kiddos, and then also easy enough for kiddos to prepare if they are on their own. And we do like to give them nutrition ed materials in these bags as well to give them ideas on combining different food groups into balanced meals and making the most of their bags. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Vanessa to talk about our CalFresh outreach.
Thanks so much, Tara. So we're going to focus on our CalFresh outreach program. To start, my name is Vanessa Rodriguez. I'm the CalFresh outreach manager, and thank you all for being here today again. So to start, in SLO County, the CalFresh program is actually run and administered by the Department of Social Services. And though CalFresh isn't a direct program of the SLO Food Bank, we play an active role in helping promote the program as it's one of the frontline defenses against food insecurity. And so although I won't be going over program specifics about the CalFresh program today, we will be focusing more on the outreach efforts. We do have a previously recorded webinar that we had done earlier this year all about the program specifics of CalFresh and how programs can clients can qualify, how to apply, and more will be included in that in the linked webinar. after. So some examples of our CalFresh outreach include either providing informational materials. This could be seen in our neighborhood food distribution bags at outreach events or through online and digital formats through our Hunger Relief Network newsletter. And additionally, we also have CalFresh application assistance sites. So to kind of get into some of our examples, right here we have some of our flyers. These can be seen either in our monthly neighborhood food distributions if we are attending any type of outreach events, or they're also accessible through our Hunger Relief Network toolbox to download and pass out to clients. If you're an agency partner, you often do find flyers in your orders to provide for clients. We also have a CalFresh information and outreach toolkit, which you can find on our website, will be linked for you. So this toolkit has almost all of the program information you need to know about CalFresh. I would like to preface that this document is for service providers to help if they're trying to answer any questions for clients, and it's not meant to be a client-facing document, though it does have a lot of client important information, but it's more to educate service providers so they have the resources and materials to be able to talk to their clients about this amazing program. Additionally, because the document was made earlier this year, it doesn't have the most updated income guidelines that were updated this past month. So for the most recent income guidelines, you can find those actually on our Funds for Food page on our website. And in the toolkit, we also have examples of flyers, social media posts, email blurbs, and some tips for outreach you may share with clients. And we often share information through our social media as well, which you are more than welcome to share on your platforms. And we highly encourage it and really appreciate those who are really good about blasting any information we have. Like earlier this year, we experienced some disasters with the February storms. And so Disaster CalFresh came into play. And it was really helpful to have all of our Hunger Relief Network being able to provide this information to clients who may have been infected by the storms. You may have also seen promotion of our CalFresh application assistance events where we've gone to some of our county libraries for the day and offered one-on-one assistance with the help of our Department of Social Services. And this is for folks who either are unable to make it to a DSS office or are not comfortable with the setting or just happen to not know about the program and were visiting the library that day and were able to get one-on-one help or if they have any questions. So right here, you can see our most recent one that happened back in June. This was at our Atascadero Library. And at our most recent event, we submitted about 45 applications in a day, which is amazing. We were at 5 different sites from about 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And so you may be wondering, why is CalFresh important and why is it so important that the SLO Food Bank helps promote it? So CalFresh is California's largest supplemental nutrition assistance program, and it provides clients with direct funds in the form of a CalFresh EBT card, which can be used to purchase groceries at all participating places, including farmers markets, on some online retailers, and most all grocery stores. CalFresh is meant to provide 9 out of 10 meals for participants, and the food banks or other service providers are meant to lean in and provide that 10th meal. So both CalFresh and the SLO Food Banks programs are meant to work in tandem with each other to provide the most food resources for clients in need. However, as of 2020 data, SLO County ranks 57th out of 58 counties in CalFresh utilization. So this means that those who are eligible aren't actually accessing the program. So with only 47.6% of those who qualify are actually enrolled in utilizing the program. And we want our clients to be accessing all the resources that they need to help them. When recipients aren't enrolled in CalFresh, not only are they losing out on benefits they qualify for, but they're also likely going without food or looking for other resources to fill those gaps, like the SLO Food Bank or our agency partners. And so, how can you help with CalFresh outreach? There's multiple ways you can help, whether that be helping share materials, sharing on your social media, or just talking to your clients about the program and getting the word out. Another way you can help is by hosting a application assistance site. So we are currently looking to expand where we host our CalFresh application assistance events. So this month we've actually partnered with SLO and planned 4 different events at 4 of their resident properties and invited SLO residents to attend and get one-on-one help with DSS staff. SLO was able to provide a location with private offices for clients to speak and have that confidentiality, access to Wi-Fi, and helped promote these events for their clients. So if you are interested in providing a space for an application assistance site, please reach out to me. We're looking to definitely expand that. And below we have some examples of last night's event where we actually had about 10 families come, which was really great to see. And it was a really nice event. And with that, I will pass it back off to Kelly.
Hey, thank you so much, Vanessa, and all of our other programs team. All right, and then we're back to our main overview, which is kind of guiding our way through, and we're almost at the end of our presentation. So thank you everyone for staying tuned in. So we just covered a lot of information, and our goal is always to better connect our community members, service providers, agency partners, volunteers, organizations and agencies to our food resources and hunger relief network. And so how do we do that? So, the best way to view the public food resources that are readily available to community members, whether you're looking on behalf of a client, referring a client there, or know someone who needs to know how to access this information, we highly recommend visiting the Find Food tab of our website and clicking on the food locator. That will bring you to a page where if you just scroll a little ways down, you can find our live food map. And this food map will show all of our public neighborhood food distributions as well as our public agency partners, which are often operating a public pantry or a public meal site. The great thing about this map is it has a lot of tools that the SLO Food Bank closely monitors to make sure are always accurate, and also that we're always looking for feedback and can expand on as we add new agency partners or neighborhood food distributions, or if we have last minute announcements that we need to post about a site, like Cliff mentioned when the weather earlier this year was really bad, we were able to post announcements on our website. Some of the tools in the food locator map, and the most important one is going to be this filters tool. So after plugging in which area in the address bar that you're looking for resources, you can click on more filters, which will bring up the window to the left where you can filter for a hot or cold meal program, so a prepared meal, a neighborhood food distribution operated by the SLO Food Bank, or our public pantries that are often hosted by our agency partners. We also have a water filling station filter that's only available in San Luis Obispo City right now, but if we hear of other ones, we'll add them so that folks who need some water are able to go fill up. You can also choose a radius depending on someone's ability to have transportation, whether they're traveling on foot or by bus or by bike or in their own car, and other really neat features. And then additionally, if you find a location, you can click on the More Information and Hours and Program tab to see the specifics. Again, the majority of these listed are public with very little requirements for someone to come and receive food. However, some of our agency partners do have service regions, and so just important to look at that as well. But I will say the grand majority of agency partners will always give someone food if they're in need. And then if they're out of the service area, they will just provide resources about where that person can go for next time. And then we also have that same information available on a printed material in English and Spanish. And I forgot to mention the map can also be translated into different languages with a button here and the results downloaded. So that one is in multiple languages. And then these printed flyers, which folks might be more familiar with, we've been using them a really long time. And ease of access is really great with these. They also show neighborhood food distributions on the front side and our local pantry and meal sites hosted by agency partners on the back side. And these are really, really valuable tools to be able to hand out quickly and distribute quickly. But we do always encourage folks to make sure that they have the most up-to-date calendar or that they're checking our website in case there have been any changes. We always put when we last updated these flyers, in the back corner in the upper right-hand area. Or if you ever have any questions, you can simply give us a call to check in and make sure that you have the most up-to-date information. And the last thing I want to highlight about all these food resources is that they are not mutually exclusive. Much like Vanessa mentioned about CalFresh and the SLO Food Bank resources working in tandem, so are these various programs working in tandem. So someone who is receiving CalFresh and attending a neighborhood food distribution is more than welcome to also attend an agency partner pantry, and vice versa. We try to cover many regions throughout SLO County. We try to have versatile and flexible, timing for our agency partner sites. We try to have evening distributions, and we try to have morning ones as well. So just trying to really focus on covering all those and meeting people where they are and knowing that they can utilize one resource if that's what they need or multiple if that's what they need. And then lastly, for some of our other more closed or enrollment programs like children's farmers markets or nutrition outreach and things like that, we really encourage you to connect with our team. If something really inspired you or sounded like outreach that was going on in a similar area, or maybe you've seen one of our SLO Food Bank branded trucks somewhere and you're wondering what's going on when you see it once a month at a location, you can visit the slofoodbank.org/our team for specific program managers' contact information, and you're more than welcome to contact us directly to collaborate or get more information, as well as our general phone line. And so, with that, thank you everyone so much for attending. We're happy to hang out here if folks have questions, and I will try to enable everybody's microphones if that's easier. But you can also utilize the chat. And if you're hopping off, thank you again, and just keep an eye out for our follow up email with all the referenced materials. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Ooh, let's see. I see Diane's hand raised. Let me try to enable the mic real quick. Okay, so folks should be able to unmute themselves. If Diane, you want to try that for your question. Or in the chat. Sorry, Diane, let me try again. We all have to love Microsoft Teams, huh?
Okay, can you hear me now?
It just showed
up. So whatever
Yay!
you did, it just showed up. Okay.
It just took a while.
Yeah, I was taking some notes. Now, my name is Diane D. Lamone. I work at the North County Cuesta College distribution thing. And I just want to be clear on things because so much has changed. And I want to make sure that I'm doing it correctly because we have a lot of students that come through our line. And so what I wanted to ask was that when Cliff mentioned that the participants come through the line and they have to have an alternative form for picking up for somebody, if they don't have one at that time, what do you do? And they want to pick up for somebody else. Say, I want to pick up for my neighbor. And can I do that? Because we get that asked a lot. And what I do is I let them go ahead and pick it up and take the neighbor's name and I give them an alternate paper at that time and say, please give this to the participant and have them fill it out and bring it back with you when you come the next time.
I have a very easy answer, Dee. You nailed it. That's exactly what we would advise to do.
Okay.
We definitely understand that the alternate pickup form, there may be times when someone maybe that day asked them to go to a distribution and they couldn't fill out one in advance. We would just ask that we give the proxy person a blank form for them to bring back next time.
Okay. And then my second question was that when you have somebody that is a family of 5 or 6, and I've heard it different with different food bank people that come, is they use the number 5. They have 5 people in their family, they can get another set of bags. If they have 6 people in their family, they can get another set of bags. And to me, I think that's great. But which number is it? And then what do you do for another name? Or do you just put down their name again and they have a second bag?
Also a great question. So at our neighborhood food distributions, we try, because we're in a mobile setting, we try to send as much food as possible without running out. We we had come up with 6 as the kind of barrier, as the official number. So if someone's household is 6 individuals or above, we offer them the option to take a second set. So if it's like a household unit of produce bags, shelf stable meat, and bread or whatever else we have, we'll allow them to take another one of each of those. And another name is not required for that situation. That would just be within their household.
Do you mark down 2 bags or something, or do you mark
It
anything for the count?
it would be helpful if you would star next to it.
Okay,
Like put a star
star.
just to indicate that it was double.
Okay, that's a great thing to do. Thank you. And then
Thank you,
I
Dee.
have another one, a question for when see the family's the bag, another name. See, and then the cook one. Oh, and how does a participant get a hold of a no cook bag? Because we have students that come through that are homeless and they take it and then they say, God, we can only use some of this and that. Then they donate it someplace else, which is nice. But I think a no cooked food bag would be good for them to access.
I can speak to that one, Diane. And
Okay.
I'm so sorry. You were at North County Cuesta?
Yes.
Yeah, so North County Cuesta, well, both Cuesta campuses are actually an agency partner, but I know there's been a couple staff changes. So I'm actually going to reach out to them again soon to see if they're ready to access some food resources again. But one option would be for Cuesta to receive them directly to distribute. And then
Okay.
additionally, I can look for some other areas in Paso that currently have them where folks might be able to go, but we can definitely look into that. But it would be enrollment in the program. And then I think what we saw on the slide showing our participation recently is that the program is kind of operating at capacity, but something that the SLO Food Bank, eventually would love to investigate is if we could send a small amount to distributions or just how we can better connect folks with that. But that's something that we can
Okay.
definitely look into about where they already are around Cuesta, and then additionally trying to get Cuesta picking up some as well to have directly.
Okay, great. Um, I really like the fact that you guys are really quick on answering these too. You got, and then I have one more question. I think it's probably for Cliff. When a participant comes up and they want to pick up the bags through the drive-through, they say, "Oh, I don't want the meat," or "I only want this stuff." Um, when we first started this, I was a part of the first starting plan of this, and we were in a different parking lot, and we were told that we had to give them the whole order, and then it was up to them to get rid of it. But now I'm hearing they don't have to, so they just take what they want to take. That's gonna be okay?
Correct.
Because
Exactly.
because that's what we've
So
been letting them do. So I
yeah,
just thinking it might mess up the count, but it was always about the numbers when we started. Make sure you have the right account. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
No, I hear you. We have basically just kind of we have a great inventory. We have a specific inventory team now. We used to kind of have everything together. This is a little inside baseball for SLO Food Bank, but we had a warehouse manager who also covered inventory. Now we have a whole inventory team that is dedicated to, really focusing on checking our inventory and making sure everything's adding up. They do an amazing job at that, and they have basically told us, they'll handle that. So if
okay,
you're at a site, and someone says, no, I really don't want the meat, I just want the produce, that's totally fine. They can just take the produce. They can
wonderful.
deny any item in that household set. They're eligible to take all of it if they want, but they are more than welcome to deny anything that they're not going to use.
Okay, and then I did have one more too. When people deliver to, because I deliver to a couple elderlies that can't get to the Santa Margarita because they can't drive. So one elderly is in Santa Margarita and the other one is in California Manor. And to both of these places, they deliver, but they can't get out there. And so I'm trying to get the California Manor people to get someone from the Manor to deliver to them, to pick it up and deliver it to them, But
Mhm.
how many orders are you allowed to deliver though? People to deliver. It's only like 2. Isn't that only 2?
You mean for how many of you to
To
pick
pick
up
up
as
for
a
other
proxy?
people, alternate pickups.
So for right now, we try to keep it around 5, and
Oh, well, I would have
that's
2.
purely just because we don't want to run out of, we want to be as equitable as possible at the site.
Yes.
So five is kind of the number we're operating now, or operating with now. Do you think that would that work for your case?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I only do 2. And then somebody said, well, isn't there only a mile? Oh my God, I didn't know. I never checked. And we do have people come in through the drive-through that will bring alternate paperwork for others. They'll pick up like
Mm,
4 for 4 others and themselves. And I go,
Mhm.
oh, okay, we never checked on that. So I don't think there's a, as long like, but it makes sense that make sure there's enough,
Yeah.
that's going out there for, okay. Well, that's good to know. And that's
Yeah.
it, you guys. That's it. I
Thank you,
really
Dee.
appreciate it all. Thank you
It was
so
good to
much for
hear
all
from
you
you.
do. Yeah.
Those were
Thank you for
great
doing this.
questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, at least I know, I know I heard it from the horse's mouth and I feel good about
That's
that. Thank you guys. I'm going to go ahead and leave so I can serve some students. Okay.
Oh
Thanks,
my
Dee.
gosh,
Have
It
a
was
good
good hearing
day.
wonderful.
from
Thank
you.
you so
Uh-huh.
much.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yay. And for any folks still on here, do we have any other questions? All righty. Well, if there are no more questions, I'll go ahead and end the meeting. But thank you everyone so much again. And you can expect the recorded webinar and accompanying resources. And of course, our contact information is on the website. But if you receive that follow-up email from me and just want to reply directly with any questions, I'll make sure it gets to the appropriate person. And thank you everyone. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your week and a good weekend.